All right, what's going on? Let's get right into it. I'm about to do a uh, customer request for my boy Jay. Jay, what's going on? So I basically gave Jay, right, the analytical version of the product that I'm distributing right now. At the same time, it comes in two different versions, the package, right? It comes in this form, which is the analytical form. It's distributed within it's a spreadsheet pretty much, right? Which is challenging to read if you're more of a visual type learner. So there's also a visual type or a video type way to do it. So this is what I'm doing right now. So what I'm going to do right now with Jay's piece is I'm going to decipher the whole sun sign aspects of his chart. All right, his chart is extensive though. It deals with all of the planets that is in his chart, as well as anyone else who has all of the planets inside of their chart. But it deals with all of the planets in his chart and all of the aspects for the personal planets anyway. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a presentation pretty much of how the analytical version is described in a visual sense. All right. So pretty much dealing with the sun sign, right, and dealing with the sun. Jay happens to be a Pisces sun. Shout out to the Pisces, right? Jay is a Pisces sun at 7.32 degrees, I believe. So what that means in a nutshell, right, is if we're talking about decadence, it's probably going to be in another video, of course. But decadence is there's 30 degrees in each sign, right? So the first 10 degrees is attributed to the actual sign that the sun is inside of, which in this case is Pisces. So that means since it's at 7.32 degrees, let me make sure I'm saying that right. Yeah, 7.32 degrees. Then J is like really Pisces, pretty much is what I'm saying. Now the next 10 degrees will be attributed to Cancer, and the last 10 degrees will be attributed to Scorpio. So you may see, what I'm saying pretty much here is that you may see some Pisces who behave more like Cancers, and you may see some Pisces who behave more like Scorpios. So like earlier, I visualized, I seen a comment made by a subscriber, or maybe not a subscriber, just maybe a viewer, and she was saying how a Pisces that she dealt with was not like the Pisces that I described in a specific video. I believe it was an Aquarius video, because I described the Pisces as a homebody type sometimes, or probably in that video as the homebody type. And she was like, no, not my Pisces. He was all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So that Pisces potentially was like has Sun in Scorpio, perhaps. I'm just guessing, you know what I'm saying, based upon how she described that Pisces to be. So that's what Pisces in a certain degree inside of a sun sign means, or inside of a sign means, and that also goes with the rest of the planets as well. All right, so we get past that now. Let's get to the sun and describe what exactly the sun represents and what it does. The sun is your likes and your dislikes. The sun is your ego. It's your self-identity. It's also your self-esteem. How much self-esteem do you have, right? It also deals with children, and if you don't have any children, it deals with your creative projects. It deals with creativity all along, right? But if you don't have children, and even if you do have children, it deals with creativity or creative projects. So you may call your independent business or whatever the case may be baby, like that's your baby. You started it, you created it, and you make it grow into something, right? So that can also be considered as a creation. Also represents government. It represents the spinal cord, right? It represents speculative matters, the stock market. It represents gyms, sports, gambling. Did I say? Well, stock market, same thing, like casinos and stuff, right? Also leisure, fun time, right? Also romance, romantic escapades, conquest, whatever you want to call them, which is significant other or others, right? Depending on how you are. So that's what the sun deals with. Now, the sun, Jay has the sun inside of the 6th house. So what this means is Jay has a strong perception of work, and is probably a no-nonsense guy when it comes to work ethic. You know what I mean? Also has supervisor qualities, and could be kind of like maybe over-demanding in some. With a sun inside of the 6th house, you also have to be careful to take some downtime for yourself, because 6th house, Virgo rules over 6th house, which also deals with worries and like nervous or like nervous tension problems. So you can take on so much work that you actually become exhausted or you overwork yourself. So downtime, even if it's a half an hour a day, is very important for this placement aspects. If he does take that role, if he does have that role inside of the work environment. Um, he also expects to be recognized for it because we got to remember the ego is here, right? Self-identity. So sixth house deals with the work environment, right? So you got to automatically expect Jay to be that type of person who expects to be recognized for their work because he's going to do hard work. He's going to do the work well. All right. You know, he's going to find satisfaction, job satisfaction in recognition as well. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is you're going to see a diagram basically pop up on the side of this um, screen right here, right? Kind of getting a little fancy with this, whatever the case may be. And I'm going to explain aspects. So I'm going to concentrate on the sun aspects that Jay has in this chart. Okay, so I'm going to begin with the conjunction, which is Mercury conjunct Sun. So what this means is Jay's mind, which deals with Mercury, right, and intelligence, is strong because it's conjunct. Conjunction aspect means there's intensity if it's between a certain amount of degrees. So there's only an 8.96 orb allowance between these two planets. And what an orb allowance is the amount of degrees of separation between two planets, which describes the impact of the aspect. Okay, so it really describes the influence. So how much does the sun, how much does Jay's sun influence Mercury, and how much does Mercury influence Jay's sun? All right, that's the relationship between these two planets. Now let's remember, I already described the sun and I already described Mercury in a nutshell, right? So this orb allowance is up to 8 degrees impact to have impact. So it's 8.96. So you can say this still has strong impact and can be considered a conjunction, even though it's just a little bit above 8, which is the allowance for this aspect. It still is going to have some type of impact. So back to what I was saying, right? Jay's mind is going to be strong because it's going to be strongly correlated with his self and his ideal beliefs, right? His ideal likes and dislikes is going to be strong. It's going to be very ego driven, his thoughts. So it's going to pertain to what he likes and what he wants, and probably just himself, just being honest, right? Now, the challenge here is being able to see himself the way others see him. So let's say people will just be like, oh, Jay's an asshole, you know what I mean? Or Jay's just too hard on us, or he's just too hard in general. He's like a soldier out here, you know what I mean? Like, if Jay struggles to see that people actually perceive him that way, he may struggle in communicating with others, or actually building relationships, rather. Like, he may make it to the mountaintop by himself and he may be alone in doing so, but we do know in astrology that 11th house deals with networks, which brings dreams and wishes into fruition. So if you decide to do that, you would need some type of networks or some type of relationships to build with in order to make that be prosperous or come into fruition. So that would be the challenge for Jay, having this particular aspect. Okay, so now I'm going to move along into the next aspect, which is the sun sextile Jupiter. So this means Jay was born lucky. Like, he just got the gift of gab, like it's there. Not only that, right? And especially with Jupiter being inside of Aquarius, right? What this means is not only is he born lucky, he follows through on opportunities. You may have not heard this before, like Aquarius is, they are opportunists. So to have Jupiter inside of that sign and also have it sextile his sun means that Jay is very aware of these opportunities that come his way, and he capitalizes off of them. So if people may just be like, oh man, Jay is so lucky, how does that guy do it? He does it every time. Like, every time I look around, he struck oil again. And the reason is because he pays strong attention to detail, and he's able to catch up on that. He's able to pick up on those opportunities and take advantage of them when another type of person may not do so. And maybe another type of person does not have that aspect as well. So what a sextile is, let me further explain what a sextile is, right? A sextile is just an aspect that describes opportunities, okay? Opportunities. So this is kind of like a beneficial aspect inside of astrology, okay? So with Jupiter being there, right, also it's like this could be a challenge for Jay as well. Like, he may be just so over optimistic because these type of things just seem to fall in his lap all of the time, right? But what happens here is, though, he can take on too much because he's like, oh, you know, Jupiter is so plentiful. He's like, yeah, I can take this on and I can take on that because I get rewarded with these types of energies or these types of opportunities to the point where I can take care of all of this. And he may overextend himself, which is familiar with the whole Jupiter planet, right? So what happens, though, is that Jupiter will guide him. Like, Jupiter is like a real guiding type planet. So when the road gets going too tough, is pretty much what I'm saying, Jupiter will bring him through it and bring him out of it and make him wiser for it. Also, there will be like, good health and fun times with the sun conjuncting, or sextile, excuse me, Jupiter being here. Now, this impact is very strong as well. Before I move on to the next aspect, this impact is very strong. As you see here, it's a 0.10. So sextiles have a 6-degree orb allowance instead of 8. Like conjunctions have 8, squares have 8, trines have 8. Sextiles have a 6-degree orb allowance. So anything in between 0 degrees and 6 degrees orb allowance means that the impact is strong. This orb allowance is 0.10, meaning it is very strong because it's almost exact. So, yeah, pretty much. Now, moving right along to the next aspect, right? We have the sun squaring Uranus. Okay, now this is different, right? A little bit different. Squares, let me describe what a square is first so I can really emphasize the difference between the other aspects. A square is when you have obstacles. Now, squares are different from what they used to represent in the past. These days, squares can be very beneficial, and in fact, some of the squares and oppositions that I've been reading and doing research on will actually show you how beneficial they can actually be. So with this square, there's an obstacle that Jay faces, right? It's a challenge here, and that challenge is that he's going to be a very independent thinker, and he's going to want to do things on his own. You know what I mean? So what happens here is, the intelligence here is going to make Jay believe that he doesn't really need other people because he possesses the intelligence to do it on his own. So with Uranus there, though, you got to expect the changes to occur, and you got to expect them unexpectedly to occur. So what happens here is you may need other people in order to bring the things that you want to bring into fruition. All right, and that's the challenge here. It's sort of like the other challenge from having a conjunction, right? Because remember, the ego is so strong here, and it's squaring Uranus, which is the planet of independence, right? It's the planet of I want to be on my own, I want to develop, and I want to do these things on my own. But we got to remember that in order to do so, you need other people. Now, we also have to take into consideration that Uranus is the planet of rebellion, right? So with that being said, Jay may take the approach as of, we're going to march on City Hall because this, that, and the third happened in the stock market or whatever the case may be. When instead, Jay will probably do much better if he takes a leadership position inside of Wall Street and then change things and rearrange things the way that he wants to do it. You understand what I'm talking about? Now, Jay may feel like he's defying himself because he wants to take down corruption, whatever the case may be. I'm just using these as examples to, emphasize the rebellion part of Uranus. But we got to also remember that because it's aspect and because it's squaring the sun, it deals with the self. The sun is also powerful, as I said, government. So that emphasizes leadership. So here you want to take a dominant position, a dominant role instead of probably the underdog role. Now, there are certain aspects that support the underdog role, who's basically the leader of the underdogs and stuff like that. However, this is not the one. This is not the case, right? So you will want to take a position with this aspect to say, okay, let me be a team player. Let me show how I can be a leader and be a team player at the same time to demonstrate what needs to be done or demonstrate the change, right? Because Uranus deals with unexpected change. So let me demonstrate the change that needs to be done with inside of this structure, an existing structure, instead of attempting to overthrow the existing structure that you may not be powerful enough to do so. All right. So this is pretty much what this aspect means. Now, it would take me a very long time to do this entire chart through video and everything. However, I'm just giving you a proportion of what Jay's chart brings across. I hope I'm making this clear. If I didn't make this clear, get in the comment box and I could try to clarify more inside of the comment box, or I can also, maybe just, I could just comment more inside of the comment box. So, let me know how this goes. Jay, thanks a lot for letting me utilize this as a tool to not only just show you, but to show others as well how this thing works. And, for other people that are watching as well, as I said before, the analytical version of this is pretty much, for those Virgo types, for those, that version is also available. So if you into reading spreadsheets and stuff like that, you can learn that way. It's also available, so you can learn it that way as well. But either or, you know what I mean? This is what I'm presenting. This is what I'm bringing to the table. And it's also explaining the aspects of the different planets and things of that nature. So hope this helps for every viewer, every subscriber included. I'm out.
You gotta show me what you made of up there, so I know how to direct this work. I got the work. You just gotta show me where the money at, so I can take this money. I gotta take this money. So you gonna set the kid out or what? Let's get it started. Show me what you got up there, let's work. Okay, I need this motherfucking money. So y'all gotta get y'all asses up so we can take this motherfucking money. We don't make money, we take money. Put on your best.
Wave, wave, tell your baby daddy get paid. Wave, wave, tell your baby daddy get paid. Girl, how many kids you had? Look at you, you still bad. How many you said you had? That's okay, still got swag. She got ass, ass, ass. Class, class, class. Almost made me cut class. Hard enough to cut class. Watch her strut in them pumps. The girlfriend's rum, got junk in the trunk.
What's that?
What? You taking it up? She replied, the squats ain't enough. Had to lift that up.
Okay, I'm not arguing. Now let's do it.
Now catwalk, back forth, slim it down, black clothes.
Yes.
Charge it, pop the tags off. Sponsored by the swag boss. Ass round, ass off. Your shaman's apartment. Now wait, turn around, look at me. I thought so. Definition on the torso. My baby make the best out of wardrobe. 3 jobs and she working on a full cell. You know what that means, more dough. Don't give it to me.
Ha-ha!
Now give it to me.
Now give it to me.
Now hump, hump. Throw on the pumps then hump, hump, hump. Throw on the pumps then hump. How many new things you want? Keep your money in the bank, don't taunt. Push up the girls and flaunt. My sister, that ain't your aunt. Give it to me.
Stop lying to me.
So hard on myself, I can reproduce. We kids eat after we drink the juice. If you ever hit the club, it'll be in groups. Something like jeans and boots, but the meanest hoops. Unique Riveras look so good, you can eBay your mirror. I in here, my painted hero. I see cups, those ain't drinks at the clothes show. Rose pink, look at me,
Look at me.
oh stink, give it to me. Give it to me. The attention made a walk, right 4 inches made a walls tight. Alright, break, switch the flats, been working all night. Baby boomer, stay with church. Put that paper in your purse.
Keep it.
Calculate until it hurts. Evaluate your worth. Give it to me.
Now give it to me.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Now y'all know what I want y'all to do, right? Come on.
Give it now, hump, hump.
Huh.
Throw on the pumps then hump, hump, hump. Throw on the pumps then hump.
Put 'em on.
Wave, wave. Tell your baby daddy get paid.
Get it.
Wave, wave. Tell your baby daddy get paid. Girl, how many kids you had? Look at you, you still bad. How many you said you had? That's okay, still got swag.
Work. Get y'all asses up. I said get your motherfucking asses up.